Welcome back to another Action Figure Obsession video. This is Action Figure Obsession episode 109, and it is about my Action Force obsession, which is not quite as obsessive as it was a couple of years ago, but it's still there. These are figures from a company called Valaverse, Valaverse, Valaverse. And Valaverse has created the IP of Action Force, or at least this modern iteration of Action Force. It's actually a tribute to a toy line from I believe began in the 1960s, around the same time as the original G.I. Joe was. The 12-inch G.I. Joe started from Hasbro. Action Force was sort of the UK and perhaps other places internationally version of G.I. Joe at one point. I'm not sure if it started that way or not. I think that Action Man, who was a superhero in the 60s and 70s, kind of an adventure hero, I guess we'd call him, in action figure form. I think he was a spin-off of Action Force. I could have some of this wrong, but if you go on YouTube, which you're already on, and just do a video or do a search for Action Force history or G.I. Joe and Action Force, you will find some information about the history of Action Force much more coherently than I, in my barely caffeinated state so far this morning, am able to give you. But for the purposes of this discussion, I'm only talking about modern Valaverse Action Force, and it starts with the guy named Bobby Valla, who Valaverse is named after. He named it himself, of course. It's his company. And Bobby Valla in the early 2010s, I believe, was an intern at Hasbro and eventually became a toy designer and sculptor for the Marvel Legends line. And that is how he first came to my attention. When he did the sublime, superb, one of the best Marvel Legends ever, Fantastic Four. It was a Walgreens exclusive version of The Thing, which was beautifully sculpted. Every rock and plate on his rocky exterior was highlighted with a beautiful black wash, and it was the living soul and spirit and heart of Jack Kirby's creation, Benjamin J. Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing from the Fantastic Four. Bobby Valla created what is my single favorite Marvel Legends figure, that Thing Walgreens exclusive action figure from the Walgreens exclusive Fantastic Four line. They did all four of the Fantastic Four and also some other characters from the Fantastic Four. I don't know to what extent Bobby Valla was involved with the other ones, but the Thing was clearly a step above the average Marvel Legends figure. Bobby Valla left Marvel Legends, I think in maybe 2020. He did a lot of the really good stuff in 2019, like the 80 years Alex Ross figures, the 80 years Captain America. I got that here, so let me pull him out. He was the sculptor and designer of this absolutely superb 80 years Captain America, as well as the 80 years Iron Man and 80 years Thor, all of which were just incredible figures. I'm not certain that he had a hand in the entire 80 years line. Perhaps he did, but I do know that those three were also his. And he also, speaking of Captain America, was the designer and I believe sculptor, at least for the figure. I mean, the motorcycle doesn't count. That's from G.I. Joe Classified. But the World War II Captain America figure, that was Bobby Valla too. He designed that and sculpted that figure, or at least the head sculpt. I'm not sure how that works. I know it can vary from figure to figure, and sometimes they reuse parts. But I think the body on that World War II Captain America, I think that body was new. I think it was 100% new, or close to 100%. And it was also reused for a movie Captain America with the same basic costume, but different accessories and an unmasked Chris Evans, Steve Rogers head. So that body, to the best of my knowledge, has only been used twice, and it's a pretty good body. In the World War II Captain America, I mean, as you can see, When Bobby Valla designed that, that was a labor of love. And if you watch, he did a video a few days ago on the Valaverse YouTube channel. And again, it's Valaverse if you want to take a look at it. He did a video on his channel talking about the 7 tools that you need to be a toy designer. And it was fascinating to watch. And one of the things that I noticed was that this World War II Captain America was on a shelf in his office right behind him as he was talking. Clearly, he takes a lot of pride in the work that he did for Hasbro. I think that he pushed Hasbro forward in many ways. I think that, he tried to get that 12-inch line jump-started. Many of these are his designs. The 12-inch figures you see in these boxes here, that's Spider-Man down there. In the center of the screen there. I know this Thor was Bobby Valla's work, and this Captain America, and for all I know, the entire line may have been him. I suspect Iron Man was. His sculpts, his designs, and his passion for toy creation and for action figure sculpting, it just shines through. Now, he also has been a subject of some controversy because he occasionally will, quote-unquote, talk smack about other toy companies or other personalities in the action figure community. He's been known to get into some beef with people. And to a large extent, that's irrelevant to me. What matters is the figures and what he's doing. I mean, he hasn't done anything, to the best of my knowledge, unethical or illegal. He just sometimes his mouth runs away with him, and God knows I've been guilty of that a time or two myself. But at one point, I had in my collection, between kit bashes and multiples, doubles, triples of some characters, I had almost everything that they had created up to a certain point, up to, I think it was Series 3. And I had doubles of virtually all the characters, including a complete or near complete mint in-box set that I had not opened. So I had multiple loose versions of the characters or the figures, and then I also had a nearly complete, I think, set of everything that they had released, still in the box, unopened and sealed. That's how invested that I was in Valaverse Action Force. The reason why Bobby Valla left Hasbro at one point, or at least a contributing factor, was the fact that he was agitating for a 6-inch line of G.I. Joe action figures. He really thought that the 6-inch format for action figures was, the going thing. And up until that point, G.I. Joe had mainly been 3 3/4 inches, with some of the G.I. Joe or Real American Hero characters like Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander getting 12-inch figures, I think about 25 years ago. I have the 12-inch Snake Eyes. It was a gift from my daughter-in-law, and it's the version 4 Snake Eyes with the kind of hockey mask and the blue bodysuit, and it was such a wonderful figure. But the 12-inch figures with cloth goods, I try to handle them very gingerly because I don't want to damage them. And I think that the 6-inch figures, they're affordable. They're, anywhere from $20 to $35 each, which, isn't cheap, but it's clearly enough. I mean, every one of the figures that you see before you was in that range of somewhere between, I think, $25 and $35. A couple of these were exclusives, that you had to pay a little extra for or whatever, but this is all that's left of my Valaverse collection, even though I used to have well over 100 of their figures in my collection. That was a purge out of, I think, petulance and rage. There was a wave, I think it was Series 3, that the all-female soldier wave, there was some quality control problems with it. There are a few things about it that I didn't like, and I in a fit of, I think, toy rage, said, that's it, no more. I had fallen in love with the line, and then I felt like it had really jilted me, and I let them all go, and I concentrated on my G.I. Joe Classified collection and my Marvel Legends collection, which still to this day are the the primary toy lines that I collect. But now this is a GI Joe classified. This is the retro Duke figure, and Duke, of course, is the kind of the field leader of the GI Joe, a Real American Hero line. This figure over here, this is a kit bashed Duster from Action Force. This is actually the body of the, I believe, Desert Condor figure, but with the Duster head, because the desert. I have Desert Condor back here with his balaclava on. That's one of that head that you see on that figure. And all of these head sculpts were sculpted by Bobby Valla. That balaclava head, I really feel like those eyes are Bobby Valla's eyes. They stare at me, they haunt me. But if you look at Bobby Valla, I think that he may have put himself into that balaclava sculpt, and that is sort of the generic soldier head that comes as an alternate head with many of the figures. Sometimes African American, sometimes a white guy. It varies, but it's those eyes. They just stare out at you. But anyway, that is the Desert Condor. Excuse me, with the alternate Desert Condor head. This is the Desert Condor figure. It was on sale at one point in the last year or two, and I grabbed a couple of them. And I had a leftover Duster head. Duster is Tim Kennedy, who I think was a former MMA fighter, and kind of makes himself out to be a hero. From what I understand, he's something of a controversial figure himself, and the head sculpt is a little odd. It does look like him, but he looks a little odd. So there you have it. But I think with the helmet on, it works okay. These are also interchangeable largely with Marvel Legends, the Valaverse figures. But anyway, the point I wanted to make is you can see, while Duster here is a little bit taller than the Retro Duke, it's not out of the realm of possibility that one guy would be taller than another. And the Valaverse figures do fit very well in my GI Joe classified display, which is now where I keep them. So I consider them kind of maybe a special forces unit of GI Joe, if for the purposes of headcanon. We're running short on time here, so I do want to highlight this is my all-time favorite Valaverse figure. In fact, I like it so much that I have two. This is Trigger. And he was the figure, I think, that really got people noticing what Valla was capable of. Look at the silhouette of this guy, the design of the uniform, or not uniform, but the clothing. He is a Middle East Special Forces operator, I think. Look at that head sculpt. I mean, holy cow. That is, at the same time, one of the most realistic and one of the most iconic sort of soldier / operator head sculpts that you could ask for. And the figure is just absolutely stunning. Trigger. This is my original Trigger. I never let Trigger go, even when I was being a pissy asshole about Valaverse. Because Trigger was just too good to let go, and it's a fantastic figure. Actually, the other one might be the original now that I think about it. There was a reissue, and I did grab another one at that time. But other than Trigger, as I say, we have the Desert Condor, but this is with the Duster head. Duster was a character. Duster is kind of famous in Valaverse, among Valaverse fans, because they were kind of overproduced, and at one point, I think you could get them for $10 each, and they sold out in a day or two. People were buying them by the dozens for kit bashing purposes, because this body... again, Marvel Legends and some G.I. Joe classified heads are interchangeable with these figures because they use the same neck peg system and size. This is also Condor. Let me grab my two Condors here that are actually Condor. So we have the Desert Condor on the left here, or center of the screen. And then this is the Undercover Condor, Special Ops Condor. What was it called? I forget. I think might have been Special Ops Condor or something Ops Condor. But he's kind of, there's a guy, Chuckles, in the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero line, and he's kind of the Chuckles. It's similar Chuckles vibe with the Hawaiian shirt, and he's on vacation. These glasses are sculpted on. I wish they weren't. They don't move. They don't come off, but they look damn good. He did have a drop-down leg holster, which I gave to the Punisher. because he's supposed to be undercover, and I don't think if you're walking around undercover somewhere on a mission that you're going to be having a drop-down holster. It's bad enough that he's wearing military pants. But this was like a special offering that they did. If you collected action points from the packaging, each package comes with a little thing that has, 2 points or 3 points or 1 point. And if you collected enough points, you could get Condor, I think, for like $14 or something like that. It wasn't more than $15, I don't think. But it's the thing about all these figures is that they're super sturdy. Um, at their best, they move like butter. They've had a couple of waves where there was some issues and the plastic wasn't quite what it was supposed to be. And those, you got to warm them up if they're a little stiff. This is Steel Brigade, which used to be a Hasbro property. And when Bobby Valla investigated, he found out that Hasbro had let the trademark lapse or the copyright lapse, which I think it's the trademark, to Steel Brigade. And Steel Brigade was a Real American Hero mail-away figure in the 3 3/4 inch figure line in the 80s, and hard to get. And I think he's Bobby Valla's favorite G.I. Joe figure. So he's shown off in some of his videos that he has, I think, hundreds of these figures in the 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe format. But when he got the license or the name or the rights to Steel Brigade, he decided to make Steel Brigade sort of the military force, the SEAL team of Action Force, his own line, which also had a comic book line where you could learn the lore behind the characters. And Steel Brigade, I had a ton of these that I unfortunately sold off. I only have the one now, but that is a beautiful figure. Very, very realistic. Absolutely awesome. This here, I am running out of time, but I want to showcase the last couple here. This is Sidewinder, who is from one of the recent waves, and he's got the night vision goggles. Those flip up, and you can see his face. And then this is my most recent Action Force acquisition. This is the Day of the Dead Sidewinder. So it's the same figure, same exact figure, but repainted in colors to represent the holiday of the Day of the Dead. And yeah, that was too pretty for me to let that one go. So really, that's just wanted to show off my Valaverse figures. They do live within my G.I. Joe displays, so it's really a mixed Valaverse and Hasbro G.I. Joe display of my 6-inch military figures. But I do absolutely love the quality of these guys. I love the shelf presence, the colors, the realism. The weaponry is fantastic, and I'll probably do a separate video about that because I bought that metal weapons crate with almost 100 weapons in it. And they do make, I think, the best 6-inch scale, 1/12 scale weapons for action figures, for toys, that you can possibly find, especially at the price. I mean, each one, you see this AK here in his hand, it costs about $1. If you price it out when you buy the weapons pack that it comes in, each one of the weapons costs about $1. And look at the quality, and they're nice and durable and sturdy. They're what you want for all your action figure lines, really. And I kind of spread them out throughout my collection. So that's a quick look at my Action Force figures from the Valaverse line. Great 6-inch military figure line. Their website is valaverse.com, VALAVERSE.com, if you want to check out some of their stuff and see what they have available. There's usually some figures available. They've got starter figures that are like less than $20. Definitely worth looking into if you collect 6-inch figures, or if you're interested in seeing what's out there and giving something a try. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Action Figure Obsession here on the Avian Unloaded channel. This was episode 109. I don't know why I need to tell you that right at the very end, but it was. I'm amazed that we've gotten to 109 episodes, but we have, and here we are. And I do appreciate you stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I will see you on the next Action Figure Obsession.